The massive ship hung in space like a metal star. Inside, General Tae-ho Kim sat in his command chair. His four eyes blinked as he looked at the blue planet on the big screen. Earth. The humans called it Earth. His people called it Deathworld 7. Status report, Tae-ho said. His voice was deep and calm. Lieutenant Ji-young stood tall next to him. Her skin had a light blue color with small scales that shined when she moved. Sir, the third attack wave has failed. We have lost over 2,000 soldiers. Tae-ho's eyes narrowed. This made no sense. His people, the Ardanians, had taken over 17 planetary systems without any trouble. They were the strongest force in this part of the galaxy. Their ships were the best. Their weapons were the most powerful. Their armor was supposed to stop any attack, but the humans were winning. How? Tae-ho asked. How are they doing this? Their weapons are old, simple metal and chemicals. They should not hurt our soldiers. Ji-young looked down at her datapad. I do not know, sir. The reports say the human bullets are going through our armor. That should not be possible. Tae-ho stood up. He was tall, about 7 feet, with gray skin and 4 arms. Each arm ended in a hand with 6 fingers. He wore the black and gold uniform of an Ardanian general, a uniform that had never known defeat, until now. These humans have been in space for only 100 years, Tae-ho said as he walked to the big window. He could see Earth from here. It looked peaceful. It was not. We have been among the stars for 2,000 years. Our armor is made with the best technology. Their weapons are just metal pieces pushed by an explosion. Yes, sir, Ji-young said, but they work, and the humans fight hard. Tae-ho turned to face his bridge crew. 20 Ardanians, the best in the fleet, all looked at him. They were waiting for him to fix this problem, to find a way to win. Show me the weapon, he said. A few minutes later, an Ardanian soldier brought in a human gun. It was small in Tae-ho's large hands. Black metal, simple design, a primitive tool from a primitive world. This is what is killing my soldiers? Tae-ho asked. He could not believe it. The door to the bridge opened. 2 Ardanian guards walked in with a human between them. The human was much shorter than the aliens. He wore a dirty green uniform with red and brown stains. Blood, both human and Ardanian. We found this one hiding after the battle, sir. 1, guard said. He killed 5 of our soldiers before we caught him. Tae-ho looked at the human with interest. The creature was small, weak-looking. It had only 2 arms, 2 eyes, and pale skin. How could such a being defeat his soldiers? I am General Tae-ho Kim of the Ardanian 7th Fleet, he said to the human. Who are you? The human looked up. He did not seem afraid. That was strange. Most species feared the Ardanians. Sergeant Hanbin Lee, Earth Defense Force, ID number 45872. Sergeant Lee, Tae-ho said, testing the name. You fought well today. The human said nothing. Tae-ho held up the gun. This is your weapon? Hanbin nodded. Standard issue sidearm. Nothing special. Nothing special, Tae-ho repeated. Yet it kills my soldiers who wear the most advanced armor in the galaxy. Explain this. Hanbin almost smiled. Maybe your armor isn't as good as you think. One of the guards hit Hanbin in the back. The human fell to his knees but did not cry out. Tae-ho raised his hand. Stop. Take him to holding cell 3. I will question him myself later. After the human was gone, Tae-ho called a meeting with his top officers. They gathered in the war room. Maps and images of Earth covered the walls. Reports of battles filled the screens. We have lost 3 attack waves, Tae-ho said to the room. This has never happened before. I want answers. Science Officer Do-hyun stepped forward. He was younger than most in the room. His scales were still bright green, showing his youth. But he was smart. Sir, I have been studying the human weapons, Do-hyun said. They use a simple chemical reaction to push a metal object at high speed. We call them kinetic weapons because they use physical force, not energy like our weapons. I know what they are, Taeho said. I want to know why they work against us when they should not. Do-hyun looked nervous. We are still working on that, sir. Something about the specific way the bullets hit our armor seems to break the molecular bonds. But we need more data. Medical Officer Sunmi spoke next. She was one of the few females in high command. Sir, the humans themselves are also strange. Their bodies are much stronger than they look. Their bones and muscles are dense. They can take a lot of damage and keep fighting. Taeho thought about this. They evolved on a high-gravity world with a thick atmosphere and high radiation. These conditions made them tough. Yes, sir, Sunmi said. And they heal fast, too. Wounds that would kill one of us in hours, they can recover from in days. Communications. Officer Jaewon added. They also fight differently, sir. They use small groups, hit-and-run tactics. They adapt quickly when something doesn't work. Taeho walked to the big window and looked at Earth again. Such a small planet. Such a big problem. I want that human, Sergeant Lee questioned. Find out everything about their weapons, their tactics, their strengths and weaknesses, Taeho ordered. And bring me one of our dead soldiers who was killed by their weapons. I want to see exactly what these primitive bullets do to our advanced armor. As his officers left to carry out his orders, Taeho stayed by the window. For the first time in his long career, he felt something new. It was not fear, not exactly, but it was close. It was doubt. The humans were just one species on one small planet. They should have been easy to defeat. Every calculation, every strategy, every bit of logic said the Ardanians should win easily, but the humans did not seem to care about the odds. They fought anyway, and they were winning. What are you? Taeho asked the distant blue planet. What makes you so special? He did not expect an answer. But soon he would get one. And it would change everything he thought he knew about warfare, about technology, and about what really made a species dangerous in this vast, cold universe. The truth about Deathworld weapons was not about the weapons at all. It was about the beings who made them. And General Taeho Kim was about to learn this lesson the hard way. The room was cold and bright, too bright. That was on purpose. The walls were plain metal, no windows, one door, one table, two chairs. Sergeant Hanbin Lee sat in one chair. His hands were not tied. That surprised him. The aliens, the Ardanians, thought they were being kind. They were not. If they knew how dangerous human hands could be, they would have tied them. The door opened. General Taeho Kim walked in. His 4 eyes fixed on Hanbin. The general sat in the other chair. He placed a small black box on the table. This will record our talk, Taeho said. His voice was deep but clear. I have questions. You will answer. Hanbin said nothing. He just looked at the alien, studying him. Your weapons, Taeho began. They are simple, metal and chemicals. They should not work against our armor, yet they do. Why? Hanbin shrugged. I'm a soldier, not a scientist. You know how to use the weapons, Taeho said. You know how they work. I pull the trigger. The gun goes bang. The bullet flies. That's all I need to know. Taeho's upper arms crossed over his chest. His lower arms rested on the table. 3 waves of my best soldiers. Thousands dead, because of bang and flying metal. Hanbin almost smiled. Sometimes the old ways work best. Taeho hit the table with one hand. The sound was loud in the small room. Our armor can stop energy. Weapons from 10 different species. It can take hits from plasma guns and laser rifles. But your simple bullets go right through. This makes no sense. Hanbin leaned forward a little. Have you ever been to Earth, General? The question seemed to surprise Taeho. No. We study planets before we land on them. Then you don't know what it's like, Hanbin said. Earth is hard. The gravity pulls at you all the time. The air is thick with all kinds of things that can hurt you. The weather changes fast. One day it's hot, the next day it's cold. It rains, it snows. The ground shakes, the sky throws lightning. All planets have weather, Taeho said. Not like Earth, Hanbin replied. And then there's the life. Every plant, every animal is trying to live, to grow, to survive. Earth makes you tough, or you die. Taeho was quiet for a moment. You think your planet made you strong? I know it did, Hanbin said. We fought each other for thousands of years before you showed up. We got good at killing, really good. Your weapons are still primitive. They work, don't they? The door opened again. Lieutenant Ji Young came in. She whispered something to Taeho. His 4 eyes widened. Show me, he ordered. Ji Young placed a small screen on the table. It showed a video. Hanbin could not see it from his side, but he saw how Taeho reacted. The alien general was shocked. This is not possible, Taeho said. What did you find? Hanbin asked. He was curious now. Taeho looked at him with all 4 eyes. One of your humans killed 6 of my soldiers, with his bare hands, no weapons. Hanbin nodded. Sounds like they found one of our special forces guys. Special forces? Our best fighters. They train harder than regular soldiers. They're stronger, faster. Taeho turned off the screen. Take Sergeant Lee back to his cell. I need to think. Guards came and took Hanbin away. As he left, he saw the look on Taeho's face. The alien was worried. Good. General Taeho Kim sat in his private room. Reports covered his desk. Videos played on screens around him, all showing the same thing. Humans winning fights they should not win. There was a knock at his door. Enter, he said. Science Officer Do Hyun came in. He carried a clear box. Inside was a piece of Ardanian armor. It had a hole in it. Sir, I found something, Do Hyun said. He put the box on the desk. Taeho picked up the box and looked at the armor piece. Tell me. Our armor is made to stop energy, Do Hyun explained. Plasma, lasers, even radiation. But the human bullets don't use energy in the same way. They use force, physical impact. I know this, Taeho said. But many species use kinetic weapons. They don't go through our armor like the human weapons. Do Hyun pointed at the hole in the armor. Look closely, sir. The edges of the hole. They're not cut or melted, they're shattered. Taeho looked more carefully. Do Hyun was right. The armor had broken like glass hit by a rock. Our armor is made of linked molecules that absorb and spread out energy, Do Hyun said. But the human bullets hit one spot with so much force that the molecular bonds break before they can spread the impact. How can such simple weapons hit with that much force? Taeho asked. That's the strange part, sir, Do Hyun said. The weapons themselves are not special. It's how the humans use them. Explain. The gravity on Earth is 1.4 times galactic standard. The humans grow up in this heavy gravity. Their muscles and bones are much stronger than they look. When they fire their weapons, they can handle more recoil. This lets them use more powerful bullets. Taeho thought about this. So the weapons are not special, the humans are. Yes, sir, and there's more. Medical Officer Sunmi has been studying the human captives. Their healing abilities are amazing. Cuts and burns that would kill us in days they recover from in hours. Why? Earth's background radiation is higher than most life-bearing planets. The humans evolved better cell repair to survive. They don't even notice radiation levels that would make us sick. Taeho stood up and walked to his window. Earth was visible from here, a blue dot in the black of space. A Deathworld, he said quietly. We call it that because most species would die there, but for the humans it's home. It made them strong. He turned to Do Hyun. Can we adjust our armor to stop their bullets? Do Hyun looked down. Not quickly, sir. We would need to redesign it completely. That could take months, even years. We don't have years. We don't even have months. The High Command expects this planet to be taken in weeks. Sir, there's one more thing, Do Hyun said. The human. We have Sergeant Lee. He's been tested by Medical Officer Sunmi. His strength is only average for a human. Average? Taeho was surprised. Yes, sir. There are humans much stronger than him. And the one in the video. the one who killed 6 of our soldiers with his bare hands. Sunmi thinks he might be 3 times stronger than Lee. Taeho sat back, down at his desk. This was bad news. If an average human could cause this much trouble, what could their best do? Bring me the human weapon again, he ordered, and get me all the data we have on Earth's gravity, atmosphere, and radiation levels. I need to understand what we're really fighting. As Do-hyun left, Taeho looked at the piece of broken armor again. His people had always relied on their advanced technology, their better weapons, their stronger ships, their smarter computers. But the humans were showing him something new, something his people had forgotten after 2,000 years of easy victories. Sometimes it wasn't about having the best technology. Sometimes it was about being tough enough to survive when everything went wrong. The humans were tough. Their planet had made them that way. And now, for the first time in his long career, General Taeho Kim was afraid that all his advanced weapons and armor might not be enough. The humans were simple. Their weapons were simple. But sometimes, simple was deadly. The ship's lab was big and bright. Machines hummed. Screens showed numbers and pictures. General Taeho stood by a large table. On it was a human gun, taken apart piece by piece. "Show me everything," Taeho said. Science officer Do-hyun picked up a small metal object. It was the size of an Ardanian finger. One end was round and flat. The other end was pointed. "This is the bullet," Do-hyun said. "The part that flies out of the gun and hits our soldiers." Taeho took the bullet. It was heavy for its size. "What is it made of?" "Simple metals. Mostly lead with a copper cover." Do-hyun pointed to a cut-open bullet on the table. "See? The inside is soft lead. The outside is harder copper." "Lead and copper," Taeho said. "Both are common metals. Nothing special." "Yes, sir. Very common. The humans have been using them for hundreds of years." Taeho put down the bullet and picked up a brass case. "And this?" "That holds the gunpowder, the chemical that explodes and pushes the bullet out of the gun," Do-hyun explained. "Again, very simple chemistry. Nothing we haven't seen before." Taeho frowned. "If we've seen all this before, why is it killing us now?" Medical officer Sunmi entered the lab. She carried a data pad. "I may have the answer, sir." Taeho turned to her. "Tell me." Sunmi placed her data pad on the table. It showed pictures of a human body next to an Ardanian body. "It's not about the bullets, it's about who's firing them." She touched the screen. The picture zoomed in to show muscles and bones. "Human muscles are 3 times denser than ours. Their bones are 4 times stronger." "The high gravity of their world," Taeho said. "Yes, sir, but it's more than that." Sunmi showed a new picture. This one had numbers and graphs. "Their hearts pump blood faster and stronger than ours. Their lungs take in more air with each breath. Their eyes see better in both bright and dim light." Do-hyun looked at the data. "This explains a lot. When a human fires a gun, they can handle more recoil than most species. This means they can use bullets that hit harder." Sunmi nodded. "And they can run faster, jump higher, and fight longer than we thought possible for their size." Taeho thought about this. "So their weapons are not advanced, but the humans themselves are enhanced by their world." "Exactly, sir," Sunmi said. "Earth made them this way. It's a harsh planet. High gravity, thick atmosphere, dangerous weather, many predators. Only the strongest survived." Taeho walked to a window. He could see Earth from here. It looked so peaceful from space. Blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown land. It was hard to believe such a pretty world could be so deadly. "Is there more?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Sunmi said. "I've been studying the human prisoners. Their healing abilities are remarkable. Wounds that would kill one of us in hours, they recover from in days." "How is this possible?" "Earth has higher background radiation than most life-bearing planets. The humans evolved better cell repair to survive. Their cells divide and heal faster than any species we've encountered," Do-hyun added. "And they can eat almost anything. Their stomachs have acid strong enough to break down foods that would poison most species. Tejo turned back to the table. He picked up the bullet again. Such a simple thing. But in human hands, deadly to his kind. What about their other weapons? He asked. Not just these guns. Do-hyun brought up images on a big screen. They showed different human weapons. Some were big guns on wheels. Others were tubes that a human carried on their shoulder. Some were small enough to fit in a pocket. They all work on the same basic idea, Do-hyun said. Use chemicals to push metal very fast, but each is designed for a different purpose. Some shoot many small bullets very quickly. Others shoot one big bullet with great force. Tejo pointed to one image. It showed a long, thin weapon with a scope on top. What is this one? They call it a sniper rifle, Do-hyun said. It is made to shoot one bullet very accurately from far away. We found 10 of our officers killed by these, all with headshots, from over 1,000 meters. 1,000 meters? Tejo was shocked. With such a primitive weapon? Yes, sir. The humans have learned to be very accurate with these simple tools. They don't have our targeting computers or laser sights, but they practice. For years. Sunmi spoke up. There's something else, sir. Something about how the humans think. Explain, Tejo said. Most species, including us, evolved to avoid danger, to run from predators, to stay safe. But humans... She paused. Humans run toward danger. They take risks. They seem to enjoy it. That makes no sense, Tejo said. Why would any species enjoy danger? I don't know, sir. But watch this. Sunmi showed a video on the screen. It was from a camera on an Ardanian soldier's helmet. It showed humans charging at the aliens. Bullets were flying all around. Some humans fell, but others kept coming. This makes no sense, Tejo said again. They must know they will die. Why do they keep fighting? I asked one of the prisoners. Sunmi said. He told me, because this is our home, and no one takes our home. Tejo was quiet for a long time. Finally he spoke. The High Command will not be happy. They expect me to take this planet in 2 more weeks, but these humans, they are not like the other species we have conquered. What will you do, sir? Do-hyun asked. Tejo looked at the bullet in his hand once more, then placed it back on the table. Bring me the human, Sergeant Lee. I want to talk to him again. As the officers left to carry out his order, Tejo stayed in the lab. He picked up different human weapons. A pistol, a knife, a small explosive device they called a grenade. All simple, all made with basic materials and technology, yet all deadly in human hands. For the first time in his long career, General Tae-ho Kim was facing an enemy that could not be defeated by having better technology. The humans had shown him that sometimes the most dangerous weapon wasn't the one with the most advanced design. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon was the one held by a species that had evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day. And failed. The Ardanians had forgotten what it was like to struggle, to fight for survival. Their technology had made life easy. Too easy, perhaps. The humans had not forgotten. Their world would not let them. And now, the Ardanians were paying the price for that lesson. General Tae-ho Kim stood in the command center of his ship. Around him, officers worked at their stations. Screens showed maps of Earth and the space around it. The mood was tense. We need a new plan, Tae-ho said. Fighting the humans on the ground is not working. Lieutenant Ji-young nodded. Yes, sir, what do you suggest? Tae-ho pointed to the big screen. We will attack from space. Our ships have weapons that can hit targets from orbit. The humans cannot reach us there. Orbital bombardment, Ji-young said. That could work. The humans have no ships that can reach our altitude. Exactly. We will stay out of range of their weapons. We will destroy their military bases first, then their power plants, then their water systems. Tae-ho's 4 eyes narrowed. Without water and power, their cities will fall within days. The plan was set. The Ardanian fleet moved into position. 20 large warships spread out over Earth's northern half. Each ship had weapons that could hit targets on the ground with great force. Tae-ho stood on the bridge of his ship, the Celestial Dominance. Begin the attack. Target the military base near their North Pole first. The weapons officer pressed buttons on his control panel. Firing, sir. The ship shook slightly as the weapon fired. On the screen, they watched a beam of energy shoot down. To Earth, it hit the target. There was a bright flash. When it cleared, the base was gone. Direct hit, sir, the weapons officer said. Target destroyed. Tejo nodded. Good. Next target. For 2 hours, the fleet fired at Earth. They hit military bases, airports, power plants, and dams. Each shot destroyed its target. The humans seemed helpless against this attack from space. This is working, Ji Young said. The humans cannot fight back. Tejo was not so sure. They have been very creative so far. I don't think they will give up easily. Just then, an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed across the bridge. What is happening? Tejo demanded. The sensor officer looked at his screen. His face showed fear. Sir, we are detecting launches from Earth's moon. The moon? Tejo was surprised. The humans have bases on their moon? It seems so, sir. Many objects are coming from the dark side of the moon. They are heading for our fleet. Tejo looked at the main screen. It showed small dots moving from the moon toward his ships. What are they? Missiles, sir. Simple rockets with explosive warheads. Tejo almost laughed. Simple rockets cannot hurt our ships. Our shields will stop them. Sir, the sensor officer said, his voice shaking. There are thousands of them. The screen showed more and more dots. A swarm of missiles coming from the moon. They were not fast by Ardanian standards, but there were so many. Raise shields, Tejo ordered. Prepare point defense systems. The Ardanian ships turned on their energy shields. These shields could stop most attacks. The ships also had small guns that could shoot down incoming missiles. The first wave of missiles reached the fleet. The point defense guns fired, destroying many missiles. But not all. Some got through. They hit the shields of the Ardanian ships. The shields held, but they were weaker now. Keep firing, Tejo ordered. Don't let any more through. But there were too many missiles. Wave after wave hit the fleet. The shields were getting weaker. Sir, Communications Officer J1 called. Out. The destroyer Rapid Justice reports shield failure. They are taking direct hits. On the screen, Tejo saw one of his ships flash with explosions. It began to turn sideways. More missiles hit it. There was a bigger explosion. The ship broke in two. How is this possible? Tejo asked. Their missiles should not be able to do this much damage. Lieutenant Ji Young looked at her datapad. Sir, the missiles are not using normal explosives. They appear to be using nuclear warheads. Nuclear? Tejo was shocked. The humans are using nuclear weapons? Yes, sir. Small ones, but very powerful. Another. Alarm sounded. The sensor officer called out. Sir, we have more launches. These are from Earth this time, from their oceans. The screen showed new dots. These were coming up from Earth's seas. They moved slower than the moon missiles, but there were many of them too. The humans have weapons in their oceans? Tejo could not believe it. Submarine launchers, sir, Ji Young explained. Ships that travel underwater. They are hard to detect. Tejo watched as his fleet was hit from two sides, missiles from the moon and missiles from the sea. His ships were firing back, trying to hit the launch sites on the moon and in the oceans. But it was too late. Another ship exploded. Then another. The celestial dominance shook as missiles hit its shields. Shields at 40%, a crew member called out. Retreat, Tejo ordered. All ships pull back to safe distance. The remaining ships in the fleet began to move away from Earth, but the missiles followed them. More ships were hit, more explosions. Sir, Ji Young said, we're getting a message from Earth. They want to talk. Put it on the screen, Tejo said. The main screen changed. It showed a human face, an older male with gray hair and a serious look. I am General Minho Park of Earth Defense Command, the human said. Your attack on our planet has failed. We offer you one chance to leave our system peacefully. Tejo stood tall. Even in defeat, he would show dignity. I am General Tejo Kim of the Ardanian 7th Fleet. Your defense was unexpected. Minho's face showed no emotion. We've been preparing for this day since we first detected your ships entering our solar system 3 years ago. 3 years? Taeho was surprised again. You knew we were coming? Of course. Your ships are fast, but radio waves are faster. We've been watching you approach, building our defenses, setting our traps. Taeho thought about this. The humans had been planning all along. While his fleet traveled to Earth, the humans were getting ready. You hid weapons on your moon, Taeho said. Minho nodded. And in our oceans, and in orbit. There are more you haven't found yet. The celestial dominance shook again as another missile hit its shields. Shields at 20%, a crew member reported. Taeho knew he had to make a choice. Fight and lose more ships, maybe all of them, or retreat and face the anger of the High Command. We will withdraw, Taeho said, but this is not over. Minho's face was still calm. Yes, it is, General. Unless you want to lose your entire fleet. We've only shown you a small part of what we can do. The screen went black. Taeho turned to his officers. Take us out of Earth. Orbit. Set course for the outer system. As the fleet pulled away, Taeho looked at Earth one more time. Such a small blue world. Yet it had defeated his mighty fleet. The humans had taught him an important lesson today. Sometimes the best technology did not win. Sometimes it was the will to survive, to protect your home, that made the difference. And the humans had that will. Their world had given it to them. 6 months had passed since the failed attack on Earth. General Taeho Kim stood before the United Systems Council. The room was large and round. 50 alien leaders sat in tall chairs around him. None looked happy. You failed to take Earth, said Counselor Vex, a tall, thin alien with gray skin. Your fleet was defeated by primitives. Taeho stood straight and proud. The humans are not primitives, Counselor. That was our mistake. We thought they were weak because their technology is simple. We were wrong. Explain, said Supreme Counselor Dren. She was old, even for an Ardanian. Her scales had faded from bright blue to pale gray. Taeho touched a small device on his wrist. A large image appeared in the center of the room. It showed Earth. Earth is what we call a Deathworld, Taeho began. High gravity, dense atmosphere, strong radiation, extreme weather. Most species would die there in days. We know this, Counselor Vex said. That's why we expected the humans to be weak and easy to conquer. That was our error, Taeho said. The harsh conditions on Earth did not make the humans weak. They made them strong. He changed the image. Now it showed a human body next to an Ardanian body. Humans have denser muscles, stronger bones, and faster healing than us. Their world forced them to become tough or die. Taeho looked around the room. Their weapons seem simple, but in their hands they are deadly. Their bullets hit with more force than we calculated. Their reflexes are faster than ours. Their bodies can take more damage and keep fighting. So you suggest we give up? Vex asked. Leave Earth alone? No, Taeho said. I suggest we do something we have never done before. I suggest we make the humans our allies. The room filled with noise. Counselors talking all at once. Some angry, some confused. Supreme Counselor Dren raised her hand for silence. Allies? With primitives? She sounded surprised. Why would we do this? Taeho changed the image again. Now it showed a map of the galaxy. A large red area was moving toward Ardanian space. The Krell Empire is expanding, Taeho said. 3 of our outer colony worlds have already fallen to them. Their biological weapons are killing our people by the millions. The counselors were quiet now. The Krell were a real threat. Everyone knew this. What do the humans have to do with the Krell? Counselor Vex asked. The Krell use biological weapons because our armor stops their energy weapons. Taeho explained. But the humans have already shown they can defeat our armor with their simple guns. If they can defeat our armor, they can defeat the Krell's armor too. You want to use humans as soldiers against the Krell? Supreme Counselor Dren asked. Not just as soldiers, Taeho said, as full allies. Equals. More noise filled the room. The idea of treating humans as equals was shocking to many counselors. They defeated my fleet, Teho reminded them. A fleet that had conquered 17 worlds without a single loss. The humans did this with technology hundreds of years behind ours. Imagine what they could do with our technology. Supreme Counselor Dren thought for a long time. Finally, she spoke. You wish to return to Earth, not to conquer but to offer friendship. Yes, Supreme Counselor, Teho said. The humans have something we have lost. A strength that comes from struggle, from fighting to survive on a world that wants to kill you. We need that strength to fight the Krell. The council voted. It was close, but in the end, they agreed. Teho would return to Earth with a small fleet, not to fight but to talk. 1 month later, Teho's ship entered Earth orbit. This time, just 3 ships came. They flew with their weapons turned off to show they came in peace. Earth's defense systems tracked them but did not fire. The humans were cautious, but willing to listen. Teho spoke with General Minho Park by video first. After many talks, they agreed to meet in person. The meeting would be at a neutral place, a human space station orbiting Earth. When Teho first saw Minho in person, he was surprised. The human was shorter than he expected. But there was strength in his eyes. The strength of someone who had fought hard battles and won. General Kim, Minho said, holding out his hand. Teho had learned about human greetings. He reached out with his lower right hand and shook Minho's hand. General Park. They sat at a table. Through a window, they could see Earth below them. It looked peaceful from here. Both men knew it was not. Your message said you want to form an alliance, Minho said. Why should we trust you? You tried to conquer our world. Yes, Teho admitted. We did, and we failed. But now we face a common enemy. One that threatens both our peoples. Teho explained about the Krell. How they were moving through the galaxy. How they were killing millions with their biological weapons. How even the mighty Ardanian fleet was losing the war against them. And you think we can help? Minho asked. I know you can, Teho said. Your people have a strength we have lost. A toughness that comes from your world. From your history of fighting to survive. Minho was quiet for a moment. And what do we get from this alliance? Technology, Teho said. Knowledge. Access to the stars. Protection from other species who might try to conquer Earth in the future. And you would treat us as equals? Minho asked. Not as servants or soldiers to be used and discarded? As full allies, Teho promised. My people have learned an important lesson from our defeat. We will not make the same mistake twice. The talks lasted for days, then weeks. Humans were careful. They asked many questions. They wanted promises in writing. But in the end, they agreed. 1 year later, Tai-Ho stood on the bridge of a new ship. The Harmony of Worlds was the first vessel built by both humans and Ardanians working together. It was the most powerful warship ever made. Next to him stood Minho, now an admiral in the Joint Fleet. Ahead of them, on the main screen, they could see the Krell invasion force. 100 ships moving toward an Ardanian colony world. They don't know what's coming, Minho said with a small smile. No, they don't, Teho agreed. They have never fought humans before. The Harmony's weapons were special. They used Ardanian energy technology combined with human kinetic designs. The ship's crew was mixed, Ardanians and humans working side by side, each bringing their own strengths. All ships report ready, sir, Lieutenant Ji-Young said from her station. Behind the Harmony, 50 more joint ships waited, each with human and Ardanian crews. The Krell believe they are invincible, Teho said, just as we once did. Time to teach them differently, Minho said. Teho gave the order. All ships attack. As the fleet moved forward, Teho thought about how much had changed. A year ago, he had tried to conquer Earth. He had failed. But that failure had led to something better. An alliance that made both species stronger. The humans had taught the Ardanians an important lesson. True strength didn't come from having the most advanced technology. It came from struggle. From fighting to survive on a world that tried to kill you every day, the Krell were about to learn that same lesson. The hard way. The truth about Deathworld weapons was never about the weapons themselves. It was about the beings who made them. The beings who used them. The beings whose world had forged them into survivors. And now those survivors were taking their strength to the stars.